Hello everyone, this is Kirya Does Things. I'm Kirya, and today we're going to talk about the Australian Grand Prix and the driver ratings. As you may already know, we are trying to rate each driver in each race of the season based on their individual performance and trying to take the machinery out of the equation and the circumstances of their race as well. This race, Australia, obviously it was the first race in a long time that Verstappen didn't win, and we have a lot of things to cover, a lot of things to talk about, and a big part of the race was luck, because we had some DNFs, we had some unlucky pit stops again. So it's not that easy to give very big or very little grades, considering that a lot of the things that happened were based on luck. That's what I'm trying to say. So first of all, as you can see, we start as always with Alex Albon, who qualified P12, finished P11, and that seems like an okay enough job. However, he kinda caused all the controversy with Sargent, the fact that Williams didn't have another chassis, so they had to choose which driver was going to drive it, and of course they chose Albon, who is a way better driver than Sargent. However, I'm not really sure it was the best idea. Even if Albon scores a point or two, it caused a lot of controversy. Other than that, Albon was the one who crashed in practice, so for that reason he is downgraded somewhat. Maybe if it was a regular race from 12th to 11th, it would have been like a 6 or something, but he gets a 4 out of 10. Next, Fernando Alonso. He also had a very controversial race. He qualified 10th, which was lower than Stroll, which is weird. And then he had a decent race. He was going to finish P6 or P7 if Russell overtook him in the last lap, but he approached the corner, he broke early, he then accelerated a little bit more again, and then he broke again for the corner, which really confused Russell, who was from behind, and also caused a lot of dirty air that was unexpected, and that obviously partly caused the accident of Russell. The stewards gave Alonso a 20-second penalty, which is pretty harsh. I'm not really sure if I agree with the penalty at all. I kinda get both opinions. On the one hand, he drove erratically. It was very weird, and it's not like he drove in a reasonable way erratically. I don't know how to explain it better, but it was weird. It could be dangerous if he brakes suddenly and Russell hits him. That didn't happen. There was no collision, so I'm not sure if it's okay to just give 20 seconds penalty for driving in a weird way that may or may not have caused Russell to crash. So I give a little bit of blame on Alonso in this situation, but it's part of racing as well. It's a weird one. I don't know. I'm not sure where I sit on this. So he finished 6th on the road, but because of the 20 seconds of penalty, he was classified 8th. Because of that, and because he got out qualified by Stroll, and then in the end the result says he got outraced by Stroll, which is not really what happened exactly, but you get the point. It was a bit of a messy weekend for Alonso. He gets an average 5 out of 10. Next, we have Valtteri Bottas, who had an okay quali for a Sauber. He was 13th. He was having an okay race, considering all the DNFs. He could have been in the fight for a point, but Sauber did Sauber things and did a terrible pit stop again. It wasn't his fault. He ended up P14, but I'm rewarding him a little bit for his decent enough quali and race pace until that point, so he gets a 6 out of 10. He also beat Zhou comfortably in both, at least in qualifying it was easy. So a 6 for Bottas. Next, Pierre Gasly qualified 17th out of 19th. Of course, Sargent didn't take part into qualifying and the race. So he was close to last, but not last at least. He was 17th, Pierre. Alpine seemed to have slightly better pace this weekend. And then he finished 13th, which is not great. Because he benefited from the safety car, a virtual safety car, when Hamilton DNF'd, I think. And then he only managed to finish ahead of the guys that had big problems and the DNFs. 14th and downwards were the guys that had very big issues. So it might seem decent for an Alpine, 13th, but he didn't do really well, I think, and he keeps getting out-qualified by his teammate. Again, as I said in the previous ratings, it's close. He's getting out-qualified. He is losing 3-0 right now from Ocon, but it's close. So I'm not gonna give him like an 1 or a 2 or something. I gave him a 4 because he was there. He didn't do anything crazily wrong, so I guess a 4 is okay. Next is Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton was out in Q2, didn't make it to Q3, P11. He was running okay. He was going to finish around 6th, 7th, maybe 8th. And then the Mercedes just gave up on him. He hasn't started the season well at all, and he needs to pick it up. Not because it's going to be like a big issue. Oh, Hamilton is not good right now. I don't really think that's the case. But come on, it's Lewis Hamilton. He should do better. That's not good enough for him, and obviously he knows. So because of the Q2 exit, he got out-qualified again. I think it's 3-0 to Russell, the qualifying battle. Again, it's not huge margin. It's like the Alpines, but you are still Lewis Hamilton got out-qualified by your teammate 3-0. It's not going well. So I gave him a 4 out of 10. Next, Nico Hülkenberg. Look, okay, Nico did okay. He did well. He was with Gasly, the guys that got lucky with the virtual safety car. He was 16th, which was not great. I don't remember. I think he had some kind of issue, or I don't think it was track limits, but I'm not sure. Yeah, okay, I remember now. He got blocked by Perez in Q1. More on that later. So it wasn't really his fault that he was 16th. Probably could have made it into Q2, and then had an okay race. Got a little bit lucky, but capitalized on that luck. Did well. He gets a 7 out of 10 from me because of all the chaos and the DNFs. I think the previous race it was a little bit more impressive to get points in that one than this one, but it's P9 in a Haas, so he gets a 7. Next we have my boy Charles Leclerc. Charles didn't do very well, especially if you think how good he is in quali. He got outqualified by Sainz, and that pretty much was the reason he couldn't win the race. So the qualifying mistake was one problem, and the other one was the race pace was close to Sainz, maybe almost matching Sainz in the span of the whole race, but not good enough to challenge, which is something that I expect from Leclerc. At least he got the fastest lap and he got second place. It's not like he had a bad race or anything, but he missed the opportunity. That's the point really here. I don't think we can say that Leclerc had a bad weekend, but he didn't capitalize on the Verstappen DNF. So I gave him an 8 for the second place and the fastest lap. He maximized Ferrari's result. So he gets this 8 out of 10 from me. Next we have the other Haas of Kevin Magnussen. He qualified 14th, which is okay. At this point we can't say 14th in a Haas is great, because Haas is a decent car. At the start of the season it may have been impressive. To be fair, we are still at the start of the season, but I mean in the first race. Right now it's not that crazy that a Haas goes to Q2 and gets some points. Still a decent drive, still no major mistakes. So he was there. He finished behind Hülkenberg. Hülkenberg got a little bit luckier. And after all the DNFs, Magnussen was 10th, which is okay. He gets a 7. But Verstappen and both the Mercedes cars DNF'd. So in a regular race, quote unquote, he would have been 13th. So I can give him more than a 7. A 7 is fair enough. He was pretty close with Hülkenberg in both qualifying and the race. Next we have Lando Norris, who got his first podium of the season. Qualified third, actually qualified fourth, but because of the Perez penalty he started third. Same thing with Leclerc. I said he qualified fourth, but he qualified fifth, and then he got one place from the Perez penalty. So he started third and he finished third. He lost one place to Leclerc. He gained one place to Verstappen, of course, of the DNFs, and he did a pretty good job. He beat his teammate. He was close to Leclerc. He beat his teammate in the race pretty comfortably. So it was a pretty good drive from Norris. He gets a podium and he gets an 8 out of 10 from me. Next up we have Ocon, Esteban. Esteban managed the first Alpine Q2 appearance, which is pretty mad to say. I wasn't expecting this, but they are really a bad car and a bad team in general lately. So he managed to do that. He went to Q2. 15th was the best he could do, so he could get some points from this and beating Gasly. In the race he had a problem with I think it was a tear off. He had to pit again, so I think he did 3 pit stops. So that was pretty much game over for him. I don't think he would get points as he said. He said he was in the fight. I'm not sure about that, but still he could have been at least like 12th or 13th ahead of Gasly for sure. So even though he finished way behind Gasly, he did way better in the whole weekend, and it wasn't his fault, the third pit stop. So he gets a 6 out of 10 for his Q2 mainly appearance. Next we have Checo Perez, which who didn't do well. I was considering a lower grade, but I don't know. At least he got some decent points. But that's not good enough. He qualified third, which is fine. He got the penalty for blocking, which I don't know how much of this is his engineer's mistake and how much is his mistake, but still not great. And even though he's starting sixth in a race that Verstappen is DNFing, Checo can't be of the podium at least. Like in this race, I think he should have been at least second. Okay, Ferrari had decent pace and McLaren, but you are in a Red Bull. I know it's harder when you start further behind. I know he got some damage from Alonso at about the half point of the race. I don't really care at some point. Like, you are in a Red Bull. I know you got damage. Okay, why are you fighting Alonso at that point in the race? At that point that you didn't have damage. Like, why are you there? Why aren't you third or second at that point? After 30 or more laps, I don't know. It's not good enough. I know about the damage. I know that the qualifying was a little bit of his team's mistake, but I can't. Like, it's not good. It's not good. He can't do a Rosberg. Rosberg was there every time. I mean, in 2016 when Rosberg won the championship. Nico Rosberg is not good. Is not as good as Hamilton. Sorry. He's close though. He's close enough so that when Hamilton had any problems, even the small problems, Rosberg was going to win that race, 100%. Like it wasn't. I'm gonna win. Like Verstappen has problems, so I'm gonna win like 1 out of 5 of the races that Verstappen has problems. No, he was winning everything, every race. Checo started the season with a second and another second, which is what we expect him, which kinda places him in the title fight in a sense that if Verstappen gets so extremely unlucky and gets like 5 DNFs or 6 or something in the season, and Perez wins all these races and gets almost always second, he could be in the fight. But when Verstappen DNFs and Perez is 5th, like there's no fucking way. There's no way in hell that he will be even close to Verstappen, even if Verstappen has 5 DNFs. Honestly, I think if Verstappen gets 5 DNFs this season and Perez gets 0, Verstappen is still 100 points. Maybe not 100. At least 50 points ahead of Perez. At least. It's not good enough. I know the championship right now seems close, which is fun, and I like it. It gives us some hope. But if someone challenges, it's going to be Leclerc or maybe Sainz. Honestly, I don't think if Ferrari is close to Red Bull, maybe they can challenge. Perez can't. He just can't. He's a good driver. He's not a great driver. That's it. So I'm disappointed he gets a 4 out of 10. Maybe he deserves worse in this race. I don't know. Next, Oscar Piastri. He is doing well this season. Not crazy good. Pretty good. Close to Norris, to Lando. And actually he has 1 more point because of his consistency, which is amazing. Lando had the weird race in Saudi with the bad strategy though, so I think Lando is performing slightly better, but Oscar has 1 more point right now. But it's pretty close, it's really close, and he's in his 2nd season, which, by the way, things like that I don't take them into consideration when I give grades. I don't care about what I expect from the drivers. I don't care if I'm trying to rate them on this specific performance and only that. What I'm saying is if someone comes in like Behrman and I give him a grade, I'm not gonna give him crazy good grade because he did okay. I'm not. The circumstances don't matter at all. I don't care. I'm trying to give the grades based on the performance in a vacuum as much as is possible. So what I'm saying is Piastri, really good, not great, not amazing. Qualified 5th, 6th actually, but due to the Perez penalty he was 5th. Did good in the race to get the McLaren 3-4. He was a lot behind from Norris in the race, but not that much so that he loses more places. He was there. So he gets a 4th place, really good points for McLaren and for himself, a 7 out of 10 because he did get beaten by Norris quite easily. And now we go to Danny Rick, who is another reason to get mad because he is doing really badly. Again, it's not this grade. I don't think I was considering either a 2 or a 3. I went for the 2. I think it's a worse grade. Spoilers. I'm thinking of Ricciardo's days in Renault and previously in Red Bull. He was really good, but I'm actively trying to not get biased from that and give him low grades because of that. So the very low grade is not because I expected more from Ricciardo. It's a low grade because he is not doing well compared to Yuki, and in general he is not doing well. RB seems to have the pace, especially in qualifying, but it seems like it has the pace in the race as well to get a point or two. And in a race that has chaos and 3 DNFs of big teams, you have to be there to capitalize, to take the points. You have to be there. He was not anywhere near. I know it's a finish of 12th in the race, but if you think about it, he managed to beat all the guys with the DNFs, Sargent, who didn't race, the guys that have big pit stop problems, and then Gasly in the Alpine, which, okay, alright. He qualified 18th out of 19 people. He got track limits in his fast lap in Q1, and he existed in the race. He didn't do anything great. He didn't have a big comeback to the points. Yuki, as we will see a little bit later, finished 7th. He got 6 points for RB. Obviously this has to do a little bit about how good I think Yuki is, and I think he is good, but not like he's not a Verstappen, he's not a Leclerc, but he might be an Albon. Around there is where I am. I think Yuki's skills and he's performing at that level. So I'm not Ricciardo to be that much behind Yuki means that he's doing a bad job right now. So he gets a 2 out of 10. I hope he does a little bit better. He has to beat Yuki like at least in 1/3 of the races. He has to beat Yuki. Like otherwise it's a little bit humiliating. Next, George Russell qualified 7th, easily out-qualified Hamilton again, 3-0 as we said, and then he destroyed his race in the last lap. Again, I talked about this before when I graded Alonso. Part of it is Alonso's fault. Most of it is probably Russell's fault. He doesn't have to take big risks. I know he's trying to maximize the outcome, but this is not Mercedes needs points, and you can't do that. The way that Mercedes got second last season in the constructors was because they were getting consistently good points. Even when the car was not good enough, they were getting the maximum. The car is not good enough to fight with McLaren or Mercedes or Ferrari. They were going to get like 7th and 8th, and that's it. They will get the points, move on. If someone DNFs in front, they will get their points as well. Now, Hamilton DNFs with a problem. Russell goes and crashes in the last lap. Like, come on. Right now, Mercedes is 5th. They are 5th in the Constructors' Championship. They are behind Aston Martin. And Aston Martin has had a lot of issues as well. Stroll crashed last race. He generally exists, so they don't usually get a crazy amount of points. So Mercedes somehow is behind them as well right now. It's really bad. So you can't do that, George Russell. You can't do that. You should take some risk, but it's the last lap. Try to take at least, I think he was 7th. Try to take 7th and see what you can do in the next race. Don't just push it too much. Okay, and I know again that some of it is Alonso's fault, but a lot of it is Russell. So he gets a 4 out of 10. Next we have the man of the hour, the winner of the Australian Grand Prix, Carlos Sainz, who obviously gets a 10. He got the race win when Verstappen was not there, and he did really well. He didn't do a Verstappen. It's not like he disappeared and he was like 10-15 seconds ahead, but what more do you want from him? Like, he managed to qualify behind Verstappen, and as soon as Verstappen had the problem, he controlled the race completely. Obviously Leclerc was close, but you know, Leclerc is a great driver, and he didn't challenge him. He was somewhat close at some points in the race, but he didn't really challenge him. Again, this is not a 10 out of 10 because, oh my god, he got back from the surgery and all that stuff that they talk about. I know it's impressive that he came back from the surgery and he won the first race that he came back to race. I know it's impressive, but that doesn't matter on my grade. What I'm grading is a Ferrari winning the race, and somewhat comfortably he gets a 10. That's what I'm grading. That's why he gets a 10, not because he was ill. That doesn't matter at this stage. So obviously he gets a 10. He won the race. It was easy. He didn't get the fastest lap though, because Charles did. But obviously he did amazingly well, and he is probably up there with Verstappen. I think easily with the best averages from these 3 races. Sainz had 2 races to be fair, but yeah, he gets a 10. Let's go next one. Lance Stroll. Stroll did an okay job. Outqualified Alonso. Alonso had a little bit of a problem with his qualifying, and then he got a better result than Alonso in the race. But we need to say to put an asterisk on that, because Stroll was there. Tsunoda was very close to him. He shouldn't really be that close to him, and he benefited from all the chaos from the DNFs and the chaos of Alonso Russell and Alonso getting the 20 seconds penalty. So he is a little bit lucky to get a 6th. It wasn't a very good performance to say, oh, he got a 6th in the Aston Martin. It's not that great, but he did what he had to do. He existed in the race. He wasn't anywhere near the front runners, but that's okay. It wasn't anything impressive, really, but it's good enough. It's a good race. It's a solid race. So he gets a 6. Next, Yuki Tsunoda, who did amazingly well. He qualified a outstanding P8 in the RB. Great, a really great result, P8 in quali. And then he converted that to a P7 in the race. Amazing. What else can I say? Really good. I'm not giving him a 10. I don't think it's absolutely the most amazing thing I have ever seen. It's a really, really good. But I don't really want to give a 10 here. I don't feel like it in the end. So I gave him a 9 out of 10. So if the Sainz situation wasn't there, he would have been the driver of the day. But Sainz was there, so he kinda gets a little bit more spotlight, of course. But it's a great result for RB, and maybe RB is I think it is the 6th fastest car, so still it's not like he got a crazy podium or something, I don't know, in a not very good car. It's a P7, it's amazing, he gets a 9. I think it's Verstappen then Zhou, right? So we have Verstappen, got another pole, third, 3 out of 3 in the season. He didn't have a chance to race because he DNF'd in like lap 3, 2, I don't remember. Not his fault that he DNFs. We could say he is ungradable. Yeah, by the way, Sargent is not here because he is ungradable. He didn't qualify or race, not his fault. So I can't give him any grades because I am grading mainly the quali and the race, obviously. So Verstappen is gradable because I gave Gasly a grade last race in Jeddah where he qualified and then he didn't even take the start. But I graded his qualifying. So I'm grading this qualifying as well. So obviously if I'm grading just the qualifying, he gets a 10. But I can't give a 10 to a driver that wasn't in the race. But I also can't give him like a 5, which is an average, because it's not his average, to be fair. So my logic here is he did the best he could up until that point. He couldn't race, not his fault. So in order to not give him a big reward like a 10 out of 10 in a race that he didn't race, and in order to not punish him in a race that he didn't race, I think an 8 is as fair as I could do. I know it's probably going to lower his average in the season, but you know, who cares? Like, let's say that if anyone in the fastest car gets pole and can't race, gets an 8. If the same thing happened to Leclerc and he got pole in the Ferrari and then didn't race, I would give him a 9 because it's a Ferrari. If the same thing happened to Tsunoda and he got pole and then he couldn't race, I would give him a 10. You see what I mean? He got a pole in the fastest car. I can't punish him for the problem in the race because it's not his fault, but I can't reward him. So I'm giving him the average of these thoughts, which is about 7.5 or 8, I think, is fair enough for Verstappen. That's my opinion. If you disagree, it's fine. Let's go to the last one, which is Zhou. Zhou is slow this season again. I don't think he's that good. He's not very good, is he? He's there. He's fine. He seems to me like he's another Lance Stroll who is fine. Like if he's in the F1 grid, fine. there are a lot of talents waiting though. So I'm not saying he's completely out of his league in F1, but it's close. He's not great. He's not going to be very good ever, I don't think. Best case scenario, he ends up being a Stroll. That's what I'm feeling with him. Like, nothing really interesting, nothing to talk about. Like, he qualified 19th, which was last. They had a problem with the front wing in qualifying that it broke very easily. I don't know why. It was his mistake though. I know other cars got into that curb and their front wings didn't break, but still his mistake. And he's generally slow anyway. And then in the race again, Sauber did a terrible pit stop. I don't know, like what am I supposed to do like with Zhou? I gave him a 3. Like, he's not doing well. The team did terribly, so he can't sign. But he's not signing anyway, ever. I know Sauber has problems, but you know, Bottas at least did a decent job in qualifying, so I gave him like a 6, and he was doing okay in the race. Like, Zhou, he's there. He's not doing anything. When was the last time that you saw Zhou be like P8 and P7? It was like, whoa, what a performance from Zhou. I've never. I don't remember like ever seeing that. Only that qualifying, I think it was either last season or 2022. I'm not sure. He did well in quali in Silverstone, I think. It was probably 2022 when he crashed with Russell, which was an one-off, and Bottas was in Q3 anyway in that quali, so it was a lot because of the car. So that's it with Zhou. He gets a 3. I would like to see someone else take his position next season. Behrman, maybe Pourchaire, probably Pourchaire, to be fair. He's a Sauber Academy driver. Behrman might go to Haas. If he picks it up in F2, that's a whole different story right there. But and others that are not on the grid right now, Lawson, who proved that I think Lawson proved that he has more potential and he merits a place in the F1 grid more than Zhou, even though Zhou is in his 3rd season right now. He's just irrelevant to me. He's just there. So that's that. That's it with the driver ratings for the Australian Grand Prix. Next video is going to be about the F1 Fantasy, and I did pretty well on that one. I did quite well, and it will be an interesting video because we are probably going to make some changes on our team. So that's it for this video, and I hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe, and we will talk more in another video. See ya!